martial arts, I feel, and it sounds stupid, everyone should have it in some form of way. When people are like, oh, why do you need to learn how to fight? It was like, well, it's not about fighting. It's about the confidence that comes with it.
Absolutely.
And it's the mindset behind it. So we just talked about being bullies and dominate. We want to dominate business. We want to do something. But what happens now when something difficult, a difficult task happens in the office?
Exactly.
Like, what does a martial arts do? What happened when I got knocked down in my fight? What do? You get back up. You keep going. You fight harder. When you get down, you got to make up for that loss. So you get up, you fight harder. You try to do what you have to do to win that fight.
Right.
But if you don't have that martial arts mindset, even in the business, even in anything in life, it's easier to give up. So I mean, I will not give up. You will not give up. If something were to happen with Perfect Sports, or you can sit there and be like, I'm just going to give up. But your martial arts mind will tell you no. When you're down, you get up, you do better,
Absolutely.
You push harder.
But that mindset of nothing is ever going to take me out, dude, like I've been kicked in the balls in business many fucking times.
Sure.
I've lost hundreds of thousands.
Be successful if you didn't.
Exactly. So when you get fucking knocked down, get up. And that's like that in anything in your life. You know, bad choice of business or bad relationship or, you know, just a shitty day. You've been knocked down. Get the fuck up.
Yeah.
You don't have to stand right up, but fucking start moving up. Start making moves to better yourself.
It's sad, but walk into a martial arts gym. Tell me what divide you'll see in
None.
a martial arts gym.
Here's what I like about
Rich,
martial arts.
poor, black, white,
Yep.
Asian.
Yep.
Well, I don't care if you took the bus here. You're rolling in Bruce's McLaren. We're doesn't matter. You're going to be treated the exact same way when you walk in here. I'm going to low kick you just as hard. Doesn't matter who you are. You know.
I have never heard someone say that exactly the way I see it.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at it, if you and I are going to bang it out, you don't care what car I drive, you don't care what fucking money I have, or you don't care about anything. You and I are going to fight, and you're going to do your best to fuck me up, and I'm going to do my best to fuck you up. There is nothing more honorable and pure than that.
Welcome back to another episode of Building Hurting Bombs here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. And today's podcast, like all the others, is brought to you by Perfect Sports. And that's a perfect intro because the guest on today's podcast is the owner of Perfect Sports and someone who I connected with really well. We're doing a lot of promos that we showed on the last podcast for you guys. Those nice action shots. It's Bruce and I working together. And during those shoots, we kind of talked a lot and found a lot of similarities. And I recently posted a video on different habits that I like to do as a martial artist. And I realized Bruce does the same thing and he lives his life as a martial artist. So that's how I'm going to start this podcast. So Bruce Colero, welcome to the podcast.
Pleasure
welcome
to be here.
Bazooka, my man.
Thank you, brother.
So first thing I wanted to talk to you about is Perfect Sports, and this weekend we saw some of the athletes as part of the team compete. You have Wei Lee, Brendan Allen competing, so just talk about UFC and how it is to kind of sponsor the champion at the one point, former champion now.
Yes, fuck, I know.
Yeah.
It's an honor to get involved with fighters of that caliber, but to the same degree, the respect that I show the high caliber fighters, I have to extend to anybody who is just getting started in martial arts or just trying to, you know, better themselves. You know, that our logo, our sort of avatar is be great. Mm-hmm. The creed that we follow is be great. So anyone who's trying to better themselves, I have fucking full respect for.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Wei Li Zhang fight, was I disappointed? Absolutely. Do I think it was a lucky shot? I think it was a lucky shot. I mean, it could have fucking happened at any time. I think she's a phenomenal fighter. I think Rose is a phenomenal fighter, but they have to bang that out again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to say something is lucky is tough because, I mean, it was set up well, but, I mean, it was lucky in the sense that it happened early. There wasn't set up and thrown before. But I actually, going into that, I thought it was almost an even pick'em fight.
Really?
I thought Wei Li's pressure would have been able to maybe wear down Rose eventually as the fight went on. I thought maybe the first 2 rounds would have been Rose hitting, moving, but I thought as the fight went on that Wei Li pressure would have been a lot for Rose.
But wouldn't you say that lead leg roundhouse or turning kick, however you want to call it, it's generally not a strong kick.
Yeah.
So I was just shocked that took her out. I mean, it was fucking perfectly timed.
That's
it hit
what it
right
was.
on the sort of throat jawline, and it was just was perfectly done. I just thought, do you think Weili was out?
I thought it was enough to stop the fight.
Yeah.
I thought it was enough. I thought the shots that continued would have just continued to add up. I was actually going back and forth with someone the other day. They were trying to tell me that they thought Rose had more power than Weili, and I was like, there's no chance.
No.
I mean, I would say Rose got that shot because of the timing, the accuracy, the placement, but Weili as an athlete definitely hits harder, stronger, more forward
fucking
pressure.
beast.
That's why I thought as the fight went on, it would have been Weili's fight, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe it's just my own personal bias because I didn't want one of my fighters to lose.
Of course.
But I don't know. I fucking thought they stopped it a little too quick. I mean, she was dummied. She was on Queer Street, no doubt. But I would have liked it to continue just a little bit longer to see maybe if she came out of it.
Yeah. The issue is when you're that fighter sometimes, like when you watch it, be like, let me go out on my shield, man. Let me go out,
Yes.
you know? But as a fan, sometimes I'm kind of like, well, let's slow it down, you know? But ultimately, if Weili, you know, she wanted to go out on her shield. So, I mean, sometimes in those big world title fights, like those extra shots sometimes are fine. Like when I fought my world title fight, I took that knee in the 4th round. I could not tell you what happened in the 4th or 5th round. I was completely out, you know, like out cold. So you got to let the fighter sometimes have those moments to be great, you know? That's the problem. We have to let those it's not just a fight at that moment. Like that world title fight means more than anything. That's more than life itself to these guys, you know? So sometimes, I mean, I don't like to say it because my career ended short with brain injuries, but sometimes you need those moments to let them go a little bit. But I'm okay with earlier stoppages now. But me being in Weili's situation, I'd be completely pissed. Let me go out completely cold if I have to, you know?
I agree.
Yeah. So, but you also had Brandon Allen on the card as well, who got the win against my boy, Carl Roberson. But good. That kid's doing well, and he's kind of gaining momentum with his good wrestling too, right?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We've achieved a level now where we have access to great fighters. But to me, it's not even so much about their wins. It's about their attitude, right? Your attitude determines everything in your life. And win or lose, you know, it's your attitude that makes you a champion.
Yeah, I agree. What did you think of the shin break?
Fucking loved it.
You liked the shin break?
I loved it.
All right. Okay. That's the first time I heard someone say they liked the shin break.
I do, man. Like, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that it got like he broke it on that angle. Like I thought it was a check, and when I was watching it again, I think he's hunkered down on it, and he just fucking broke the guy's shin.
Yeah.
Is that a career ender?
I think so, but we've seen Anderson Silva come back.
Yes.
And apparently, when it happened to Anderson Silva was older than Chris Weidman.
Yep.
So we saw him come back, and I mean, can we say did Anderson come back and do well? Not necessarily. He hasn't had much winning, but as a financial business success, he was able to keep his brand going, still get bigger fights, and so I mean, it's still a success. But he was able to continue and raise money for his family, do well. But I think Weidman apparently had somewhere around 22 surgeries prior to going into this fight. So you got to think almost every fight he's had a surgery after almost, you know, with all the knees and the injuries. And now something like this. I personally think hopefully he's made enough money and you know, momentum.
Yeah, but you know better than anybody, dude. The money in this isn't great.
Exactly. That's the problem.
You know, if you include the sponsorships and everything else, you can eke out a moderate level. You know, what you've done is smart. You've branded yourself and you've expanded past being a fighter, which it's the same thing that I tell models. If all you are is just the photo and you're not using this popularity to expand upon yourself, and it's the same way I discuss things with fighters, you need to think past the fucking day. You need to think about what you can do to you have this perfect opportunity now where everybody's looking at you. Fucking brand yourself, man. Make a living out of this.
Yeah. And it's always the issue too, and it's people talk about after the fight. You know, I don't want to call somebody out. You know, it's disrespectful. But I'm like, that's your time. The world's watching you. I mean, at least have a plan. I mean, I think the problem is everyone thinks if you call someone out that you're this big trash talker. You're now Conor McGregor. But I think it's important. I always tell people like, you don't have to be cocky. You don't have to talk crap, but be confident. If I'm on the mic and you can say, hey, I'm the best in the world. That's not being cocky. It's just you kind of believing like I'll fight anybody doesn't mean you're calling people. Have at least a plan of attack. Without a vision going anywhere, you're just going to be a random guy in the sport. At least call certain names.
You're marketing yourself. I dig that.
Yeah, you have to. You got to have something, at least at that moment.
I've been called cocky all my life, so I can't fucking criticize.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cocky's good, confident, you're successful.
I'll even border on arrogant if I have to.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't have belief in yourself,
got nothing.
Others are going to fail to believe in you. And the same way, like when I spar, is the same way I look at competition in my industry. Like it's a sort of joke around my company where like I fucking hate competition. I don't like people competing with us, and I want to crush them all and put them out of business.
Yeah.
So
that's almost where we'll start transitioning now. Your martial arts mindset came into business.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, have I always been this intense and aggressive? Probably. Yeah. But I think when you train in martial arts, you hone that energy and you temper it. I mean, because as aggressive as I am, I think I'm also equally respectful of people and honorable until you piss me off.
Yeah.
And then I'm a fucking asshole.
Which is martial arts too, Like I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, learning to be firm, but at the same time respectful.
Yes.
I think that's the number one thing. A martial artist will always, like I don't have to always show you how tough I am. I know how tough I am. That's kind of my mentality a lot of times.
But if somebody takes it past the line for you, what do you do?
Depends what the line is and what it's crossed. So it's tough. But like I, by nature, excelled in martial arts because I have that anger, aggression side.
Right.
So that's part of me now. When someone's like, oh, you're the nicest guy, I'm like, have you ever seen me fight? Like, it's different,
Right.
It's that switch. I mean, no matter how nice you are. But yeah, if there's that line and it means something to me, I'll go there. I'll go past it.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
So. I mean, I think that's what you have to do in business, right? I mean, there's a reason why you're successful in life. And I always say, like, you don't have to be a martial artist. And this is where, like, our conversation was last time. People are always looking at me and saying, and look at you, fantastic shape. And it's like, we live that code, And it's almost like people will see me hit pads and they'll be like, why are you hitting pads like that? Why do you train like that? Why do you, like, you're not competing anymore. So people think martial arts is only about that 5-year window, 10-year window of you competing, where I'm saying here, no, it's a lifestyle, man. It's the way you live. It's the way you interact with people. The way I interact with people all comes back to the way I am in martial arts. It's all about respect, dignity, keeping my eyes on you, like I always have that martial arts mindset when I go into business. Like you said, if even in my gym, I'm not going to have a gym to just have an average gym. I want to dominate. I want to be the leader of whatever the heck I do. So
Sure.
But that's martial arts to me, that's a martial arts living mindset.
Yeah, you have to live that mentality. You have to live that code. Yeah. That's why I don't like fucking posers, right? Like there's too many people that just talk, but do you walk the talk?
Yeah.
And to me, I feel that I do. I mean, I train twice a day, 5 or 6 times a week. I go into so many different sort of avenues to increase my performance or my longevity or for anti-aging and the cryotherapy, the red light therapy, the SARM, STEMS, GH, peptides. I'll do everything in order to maximize my fucking life. Yeah. And you owe that to yourself.
I agree. I think too many times, like it's the most frustrating thing for people to tell me, like, why am I doing this? I was like, why are you not doing it is my question, Why? Like, why are you not doing this? Like,
Absolutely.
It drives me nuts, the fact that, like, people can't dedicate, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day to fitness or bettering themselves. And instead of them bettering themselves, it's more of like, why are you doing this? I was like, it's a lifestyle, it's a way of living. And I mean, too many people are not thinking that way, and it's frustrating. And that's why we're in a pandemic as well, where unhealthy people are having to, struggle more with the virus than people who are healthy.
80% of all people that have COVID are either overweight, they have underlying health problems. Not once have I fucking heard, instead of staying home and living in fear, perhaps you should actually take this time to invest in yourself, fucking better yourself somehow, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally. Fucking, you're locked down, man. Use this time to better yourself.
Yeah.
Get in shape. Research what you can do to boost your immune system.
Big time.
I don't hear any of this conversation. It fucking pisses me off.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And I mean, the fact that you're off, like you should be able to like ask someone, like, what have you done in this time off? I should be able to, at least have a plan. I started reading more. That's one thing that I made sure I had to do. I'm always in shape, but it's one thing that I added on during this time. Like, okay, I got a little bit of extra time. Let me add something to better myself.
Absolutely.
So
Why the fuck wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Learn to knit, for fuck's sakes. Do something.
Anything.
I know. Yeah. I fucking agree with you.
Yeah. And I mean, and the frustrating thing now is it's like in this past year, and this is the most frustrating to me, I don't know anyone who's passed, maybe one person who's passed away from COVID, but I've known 2 to 3 young people who, one of them has taken their life, the other one had other issues that really didn't have to relate with COVID. So that's the most frustrating thing, that my community now, I've had, a young kid's parent come the other day, and the young kid who's 17 years old is getting into trouble. He's got no outlet, no training. He was here every day before doing 2-3 classes. I mean, it's starting to really impact the younger community. I'm seeing it within the gym, the martial artists. We need the outlet, and it's starting to get a little too much. I mean, it's
the fact that fucking gyms are shut down to me is insanity. Yeah. You are removing an outlet for people to better themselves physically, boost their immune systems, release the mental fucking anguish that they're dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression. How the fuck can you close that off from people?
Yeah.
It's to me, it's criminal.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be going there. It's statistically proven that the amount of cases coming from gyms are under 1%.
Yeah.
This shouldn't even be a fucking topic. You want to spread some motherfuckers out, spread them out, but give people that release. Yeah. The person we shall not name wants to close down playgrounds. Are you out of your fucking mind, you fat fuck? Why don't you allow people to get that kind of emotional and physical release?
They need it.
I know.
And it's that we're talking about, the person who we're talking about is determining what's essential and not essential.
Right.
And it's quite obvious that fitness, health, eating well was not a priority in his life prior to it. So obviously
he's not fucked.
Yeah. Basically, it's like, if you can tell it's not a priority. And honestly, coming into this is going to sound crazy, but like when I look at my future leader of a city, of a country, I almost want someone that is The Rock, because I know The Rock is dedicated, consistent. He's routine. He goes to the gym. He does movies. That man has so much energy based on health, life, and fitness. That's the role model we need for the people. We need someone who values, exercise, values eating healthy, who lives it, is the role model of it. That is the person who should be running a country or a province or a state. Someone healthy.
Yep.
And even
we've lost respect and fucking honor in this society. DeSantis yesterday passed I believe it's some laws now. Since we're going to go down in flames, let's burn this motherfucker down, right? So, you assault a police officer, 6 months in prison. You do a roadblock, it's a felony. It was just a long list of things that are actually giving power back to the people and stopping all these organizations that are just fucking creating chaos. There's no honor and respect anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's criminal.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, will they ever admit it? Probably not.
No.
But it's getting crazy. And I mean, I think the thing is, to me, it's like, it's either all or nothing. I mean, you can't say one thing is more important than another to another. To me, the operation and running of this gym is essential because it's essential in my life, which is maybe not essential to someone. You can't tell someone what's essential to them.
Who the fuck am I?
You know?
Listen, I'm a huge comic book nerd. Why does this guy get to say that comic books are not essential, so therefore that comic book store is closed?
Yeah.
The LCBO is open, well, because, you know, people are addicted to alcohol and we don't want to have the disruptions of people, you know, and I get that, but who the fuck are you to deem what is essential? Who made you fucking God? Yeah. And, you know, I'm being flippant about like comic book stores, and you'll get these knee-jerk reactions from people like, well, why are you bitching just because you want to get a haircut? It's not about a haircut, motherfucker. It's about the fact that I don't like people dictating my life, my rules. Listen, my businesses, thankfully, are all essential businesses and we are open. I'm not bitching about these lockdowns because it's affecting me. I'm bitching because I see how it's affecting others. And it's injustice and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to stop somewhere, but I don't think it is. I think they're always going to want this control now. And
of course.
It's going to be very difficult to gain it back. But it's like at one point they started doing color zones where this zone is okay, this one is not. So I could literally drive 5 minutes away from my gym and have 10 and see 10 people doing kickboxing in a gym. But you cross 10 minutes to my part of the gym, it's against the rules. It's against regulations to do it. So how is 10 people in a gym in one city different than 10 people in a gym literally 5 minutes down the road? How Home Depot and Costco can be open in one place and then 5 minutes later it can't. And I mean, it's starting to get frustrating to see. Right now I saw a grocery store and I saw a small family restaurant beside each other.
Yeah.
I saw, you know, no outdoor seating, no one there, little takeout. And I saw a garden center is essential. Buying flowers and making your house look pretty is essential, where this family who's running this family-run burger business can't have anyone eating, sitting there, really.
How the fuck are we not allowed to eat outside?
Yeah.
It's funny. I was driving yesterday, and I saw a guy in a convertible with a fucking face mask on and a face shield on, and I'm thinking, I gotta say something to this fucking guy. I gotta say something. I'm like, no, fucking chill out, be nice, control yourself. And I'm like, he's such a fucking asshole. I need to say something, but. You know, at the end of the day, people are going to do what they will, but what infuriates me is there's no reason to any of this. Give me some fucking reason why we're doing this. Yeah. Give me some guidelines. Okay, Bruce, if we hit under 1,000 caseloads today, well, we're going to burn this fucker down now. So anyway, I went to the doctor last week because I had to get mole burn off my face. And the doctor, her friend, is one of the doctors running the PCR tests.
Okay.
We are running the PCR tests at a higher cycle right now, which is causing more false positives because it has to be run at 25. And she said that whenever they want to have a lockdown or whenever they want to keep people in lockdown, they jack it up and they run it at 40, which is what we're doing right now. And she was saying, come June, they're going to reduce it back to 25. You're going to see cases under 1,000 again, and they're going to say, fucking hallelujah, it's the vaccine. We've all been saved, and there you go. Yeah. This is never getting aired, by the way, guys. This is not happening.
Yeah. Well, I just think the issue is that's fine, whether they're going up, not going up. Just like let people do what they want to do. If I just think the value of the opinion. If I am very nervous about the virus and I'm scared, I'm going to stay home. If I'm worried about my parents, stay home. But I find now it's like people only go out when it's convenient for them. The person who's, hey, gym should be shut down, that person loves getting their nails and hair done, so they think it's okay. I'm going to go sneak and get my nails and hair done, but I'm going to be rah-rah-rahing that gyms should be closed.
Right.
Also, those who now live in, and it's an honest, I'm not calling anyone out, but I mean, it's honest. If your life is still getting paid the same, now you don't have to drive an hour to work anymore.
Yep.
So you save an hour of gas, an hour of time. You can literally get out of your bed at 8:55 and start work by 9.
Yep.
You get to lay on your couch on your break time. You get to still raise your kids. You get to have dinner cooking. It's better, and you're still making money. You're still making more money now because you're getting more government funding for having your kids at home.
Yep.
Your kids are no longer in sports programs, which we know some hockey programs cost up to $10,000 plus a year. So there's a lot of money being saved, and it's convenient for a lot of people to have this situation. But for business owners and gym owners, and like, it's not great for us. So I mean, we in that divide. If I was in a business where I got to stay home and still make money, I'd be like, yeah, rah, 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 COVID, keep COVID going. But I mean, it's not efficient anymore. It's gone too long. We have to start let people, if you're comfortable, let them go to the gym. If you're not comfortable, don't go to the gym.
Right.
Stay home.
Right.
Should be the option, and it should be up to the person to what they want to do.
What I would have done, and this is why I should be running the fucking city, is keep the elderly, protect those. The way we treat the elderly here is reprehensible. Like the people that have put in their time and devoted their blood, sweat, and tears for their livelihoods, for their families, for their city and country, they're second thoughts. Meanwhile, we have all these self-indulgent, self-important motherfuckers thinking, you know, I have customers that have employees and they're like, I don't want to come into work because I'm making more money getting CERB.
Yeah.
I just don't get it, man. And if you're fortunate enough to be working, shut the fuck up about the lockdown. You don't get to say a fucking word, right? If you're scared and you want to stay home, stay the fuck home.
Yeah.
Let people go on with their lives.
Yeah.
The elderly and the vulnerable should have been protected from day fucking one, and everybody else go on with their life. I had this huge discussion on Facebook yesterday. Why are more people not upset about Florida? They're completely open, no masks,
open events,
everything.
There's a law that you don't have to wear a mask.
No, you want to wear a mask, dude, wear a mask. Yeah. Cool. I fucking respect that. If you don't want to wear a mask,
three of them, wear three of them.
If you want to wear a diaper on your fucking head, go ahead. Why are more people not like, well, Florida's been open pretty much for a year, and it's not due to the vaccine rollout because they are more ahead than Canada, of course, because our leader's a fucking idiot. That's it. We're done. But I'm like, if I see somebody doing something that I want to do, when you saw the UFC fight, one of the things that pissed me off was like, oh, fuck, look at these guys. They're in a crowd, man, 15,000 people. They were happy as shit. No cares in the world. So unless there's this massive outbreak of COVID cases in the next 2 weeks, I'd be like, what the fuck? There's 15,000 people enjoying themselves. Freedom, man. Like just for the mental health of feeling free again. To me, that alone would boost your immune system.
Oh, big time. I mean, especially now with the summer coming, it should be encouraged to go outside, get some vitamin D.
Absolutely.
Go walk with your family. You guys have been stuck up in the house. Like, we should be encouraging a lot of that physical activity and moving. But I mean, that's not the priority.
The vast majority of people that have gotten COVID have low levels of vitamin
D.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, maybe you should be taking some vitamin D.
Big time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the negative side of it. So let's go turn it over being like, all right, we do some positive things to not get it. So what are some of the things, because I talked about daily habits that I do.
Right.
And I think you are just as, I use the word, not to be insulting, but OCD when it comes to certain things. I'm routine. I got to go to bed at the same time and I got to wake up at the same time. And I got to plan my meals because I know when time I'm going to wake up, what time I'm going to sleep, what time my first training session is. So I know my first training session is at 9 a.m. I got to eat at, 7:30 a.m. So everything is planned, set, routine. And that was one of my first things, is having things set in routine as one of my success things.
I'm exactly the same. I need to know. My girlfriend makes fun of me. Like, I'm like, it's 9:30, I'm going to fucking bed. Or it's 10 o'clock, I'm going to bed. And she's like, what are you, fucking 90? And but I like my routine to the degree that if I feel unsettled if I don't have my routine.
Oh, yeah.
So, I do. I like my schedule.
Yeah. What are some of the other things you do? Because I know we talked about, and since we talked about it, I was going to bring it up. Now is a perfect time. I used a lot of it in the past, and I'm someone who, I'm very picky with my face. My face always has to look good. And in my sport, I'm trying, in my sport, sometimes you get the cuts, the elbows. I used to use, and I bought a laser pointer. One of those old laser pointers, probably like 12, 15 years ago. And I was putting it on my cuts to help.
So why don't you do the red light therapy, dude?
So since we had our conversation a couple months ago, I reached out to a company, Rouge Care. So shout out to Rouge Care. They sent me a device.
Nice.
And I've been doing it twice a day, basically, for the last couple months. Is it the face mask
or the panel?
The panel.
Oh, fuck me. Nice,
So dude. I use a nice panel. I do it every twice a day. I do it in the morning.
So for how long?
Part of my routine is I like to take Epsom salt baths in the morning.
Me too.
You take the Epsom salt baths in the morning?
No, not in the morning. I take them when I take them.
Yeah, I take them, but for some reason, the morning, because it's just helping me loosen up, because I wake up so stiff.
Yeah.
I take my Epsom salt bath, usually about 20 minutes timed.
Yeah.
From my Epsom salt bath, I go right into maybe about 5 minutes of breathing exercises, then to a cold shower.
Yeah, I do the cold therapy all the time.
Cold therapy.
Yeah.
Then, right out of the cold therapy, I go right to my red light, and I kind of sit and I do some reading in front of my red light.
Yeah. Do you wear goggles?
No.
Neither do I.
Okay, good. I didn't know if it was a trick question. I was like, no, I do not, because I did some research before making sure it's not bad for your eyes. Some people saying it actually could help,
That's what I've heard. It can actually
I
improve
do not
your
wear
vision.
the goggles. It seems weird sitting in front of the goggles.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy. I want to
Yeah, you
breathe.
look like a criminal out of a James Bond movie.
But straight up, I'm doing it. I'm like, I try to get my head, getting older. I want to make sure my hair.
Bitch, how fucking old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay, I'm 53, motherfucker.
I know, that's great. That's why I'm asking you these questions. I need to make sure I'm heading down, the healthy look. I want to be, in shape like you when I'm that age,
Listen, I will do everything that is possible to maintain performance, anti-aging, and longevity. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of shit that I do.
Yeah. So what would you say for me now? You're still calling me young, thank you. But what would you say now, me heading into the 40s for health and longevity? Because I'm using the red light, the stretching. I do stretching every day. I have to do it.
Yep.
And if I saw you last time, you're double as flexible as I am. It's
Fuck
crazy.
that. No
You're
way.
full side splitting almost. I can't even get my groins are the tightest thing, but I almost saw you full side split. Your kicks come up easily. You're more flexible than I am for sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fucking burn this. I'm telling you, we're not getting this shit aired. Okay, so as you get older, I think we owe it to ourselves to maintain our hormonal levels. So testosterone, make sure it's at a high level of normal, right? So I take TRT. GH, I am a big believer in GH.
Okay.
If you don't want to go the GH route, there's peptides you can take that will release growth hormone spurts, ipamorelin and CJC. I take that. I take 7 peptides actually. And then there's 3 SARMs that I take. RAD, there's another one I take, and then there's MK677.
Okay.
Right? I do the red light therapy. I do the cryotherapy. I go get stem cells now regularly. And I'm going to be fucking Captain America.
Yeah. What do you feel the best bang for your buck? What would you say the best of them?
See, that's kind of hard to say because I do everything, so I don't know what is. I feel great.
Yeah.
The first thing I would say for approaching 40, go get your test levels checked.
Okay.
Right? I think for several reasons, most people's test levels are going to be lower than they should be. And going on TRT will make you a fucking new man.
Yeah, because I know a lot of the research. I mean, I'm sure most people who follow me here follow Rogan as well.
Yep.
He's someone a big believer in, and he had a doctor, Dr. Mark Gordon, I believe, and he always talked about using it for war veterans and fighters with concussions. He had, I believe, he prescribed TRT to James Toney. And because James Toney, you would think a heavyweight boxer would have this high level of testosterone. Apparently, it was very low.
Yep.
So he had to be prescribed it. And I know even at one point in the UFC, you were allowed, and Vitor Belfort was the certain one. But it makes sense. Like if you are an athlete who it's proven where if you get hit in the head, your levels are lower, your testosterone is lower. But if you're fighting someone else now whose levels are higher, but they're still under the normal range, I mean, it's almost
there's
like
an advantage.
There is.
For sure.
So, right?
And physicality has nothing to do with your testosterone levels. You could be jacked as fuck. And also, let's agree that Vitor wasn't doing replacement therapy. That motherfucker was like, there's superhuman Vitor and then there's normal Vitor. There's a massive difference. Mm-hmm. But there is actually a peptide, a cognitive peptide that helps increase and prevent degenerative mental function called FGL. I just started taking that too.
Okay. Yeah, that's where mine, I mean, you're really into the aging stuff. Mine's more of like, how do we slow down? Because, I mean, sometimes you have to be honest with the fight sport career. And out of all this tests and study, I mean, there's good chances all of us are going to have some form of CTE going down that way. But it's more of now, if I eat unhealthy, I stop working out, I don't do, these things, I feel like the the effects of the dementia, the Alzheimer's gets worse quicker. So, I mean,
Sure.
it's important now. I mean, even I think these fighters should be starting even before, like as they're still fighting, doing the proper protocol, because when you're absorbed in the fight world, you don't really think of these things. You know?
Sure.
You don't care. Like,
It's also expensive.
yeah, people used to think and be like, people used to ask me, aren't you worried about concussions? Like, what are those? Who cares? You know what I mean? It's part of it. But then when you're done and you realize it's important. So I think all this research, I think, is important for longevity for us fighters, you know, that we want to be healthy. I want to remember things when we're 40 and 50.
I don't want to be shitting myself. Yeah, no, I agree. Stem cells are really, really good for, again, preventing degenerative cognitive function.
But now explain to me, because I'm very new to all this stuff. There's different types of stem cells you can get. One is umbilical.
Yes,
and
which is what I take.
And the other one is what?
I believe that, I don't know if it's still allowed in Canada. They were getting it from fat cells.
Okay.
There is a way to get umbilical cords from your own body, but like I'm 53. That means I'd be putting 53-year-old stem cells in my body. So what you want to do is get stem cells from, I believe it's from, like, it's not taken from children, but it's at that age level. So one of the common theories is you want to introduce young cells into your body and then trick your body into thinking that you're younger than you actually are. One of the things I just did recently, as I keep saying, I'm 53, but I took a test to determine my actual cellular age. So based on my physicality and my habits and my family history, it will determine what my actual cellular age is. So I'm waiting on the results for that.
Okay. What are you thinking it is? What would you, hold on. This is almost like a subject where it could be like touchy, you know, like if you're going, I gotta be 30 something. If you're higher, you're going to get upset, or is it more like you're just accept what it is? Or
yeah, I mean, the one thing that I have to, like, you know, you get to the point where you look good for your age, like you get that fucking comment, and that used to tweak me a little bit. I'm like, mother fucking look good for my age, fuck you, right? But I have a lot of people that say that because I'm 53 and I look the way I do and I have the goals that I do, or I have achieved the things that I've done, and my actual achievements, to me, that's not impressive, because I believe everybody has the potential to achieve great things in their life. That's why, again, be great. There's nothing special about me. Everybody can achieve whatever the fuck they want in their life. They just have to decide what it is they want, and they have to pay that fucking price that it's going to cost them to get what they want. Yeah. And if I can inspire people with that, then that's good. If I were to guess based on my physical health what my age would be, I'm 53, I'd probably say maybe early 40s.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So what do they do to get it? Is it just a blood test?
Yep.
That's all it is?
Yep.
All right. I'm interested too.
Yeah, dude, like I'll hook you up with the doctor. I already contacted him, telling him that I'm going to send you to him.
Yeah, I'm curious to see.
I am a huge believer in stem cells. Huge. Yeah. And as you know, Joe Rogan's a huge proponent of it.
Yeah.
And there's many fighters that have gone, and they use it to not only help with injuries, but just anti-aging.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be more popular once people understand. I just think right now, like, it's almost like the idea of talking about weed and CBD. Like in the past,
take CBD?
People, I'm a big believer in cannabis and CBD.
Me
like
too.
I believe in CBD, like especially during the day, because I don't want the THC too much throughout the day. But at night, I think it's nice. Like after you train twice a day, like your body is in inflammation. There's some pain. There's some soreness, and I'm not doing water aerobics. We're kickboxing. We're hitting. We're smashing things. So I need sometimes that relaxation from the THC. So I like to mix around with both, but I'm more of the natural, the type of things of, but CBD, I'm a huge believer in it. I've been doing it for years. That was my whole talk on Joe Rogan. And at that point, I mean, it was crazy to say, but at that time, no one was really retiring or talking about retiring from brain injuries. I was one of the first people to come out and say, hey, like, you know, this is real. I'm retiring with it, but I've been using CBD for so long. So I still get a lot of companies reaching out to me, but I'm a huge believer in, I like more of the cannabis-based CBD rather than the hemp-based one.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
I just feel it's a little bit more effective. It's more expensive, but I find it's better for me, and I feel better when I take it.
I agree, 100%. take CBD before I go to bed. I take my GH before I go to bed. I take another peptide, again, for anti-aging before I go to bed. I take melatonin before I go to bed. I take a scoop of glutamine before I go to bed. And I take something else. Take a whack of shit.
Magnesium, maybe?
Yeah.
I like to take
ZMA.
magnesium at night. ZMA is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that really affect your dreams? Does that still do that?
For sure, dude. When I take the ZMA
Okay.
and the CBD and the MK677, I get some fucking wicked dreams.
Yeah.
Like I'll wake up, I'm like, what the fuck?
Too real. They're almost too real at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we even partnered and I kind of teamed up with Perfect Sports, I've been using your guys' stuff for a long time.
Thank you.
For me, it was kind of nice and perfect to partner up with because I always have staples that I like to take throughout the day because sometimes I'll cycle with my creatine on and off here and there. But like the glutamine every day, I've been into fasting a lot lately because
What time do you fast?
I like to try. It's different, but I at least try for 16 minimum.
Oh shit.
I do 16 hours minimum. But what I like to do is because I like to work out twice a day as well. My first workout I try to do fasted. Which I like to do. And while I'm, while I'm doing my fasted, sometimes I get hungry. So I've been having the burn cycle through it. So the Perfect Sports burn cycle, it gives me the energy to keep going through my workout. It doesn't give me that bad pain hungers that I can get sometimes fasting. And it just gives me the energy to continue. So I take that. And then right after my workout, I've been going over to some of the proteins mixed with some glutamine.
Perfect.
So then I'll try to have my meals after that. So, I would say my first big meal happens in 16 hours, but I'll break my fast with the burn cycle.
Yeah, I don't know technically if I would consider that breaking your fast.
But yeah, they say it can. Even they say branch chains can break the fast. But I look at it as I still need some energy and I'm still breaking down some stuff during my workout, so I'm okay with it. But it's just more like calorie management because I don't really want to, I'm over my career of eating like pre-planning all my meals. And I don't want to cook chicken for a week and keep some dry ass chicken sitting in my fridge.
Listen, mad respect to guys that do that, but fuck that. If I want to, again, one of the reasons why I train the way I do is because if I want a fucking pizza slice, I'm going to have a pizza slice. So I'll take things to extremes in terms of my exercise and my supplementation and all the other things that I do just so I can also enjoy life. Like food, there's fucking pleasure in eating food.
Big time.
So yeah, I do the same thing. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll take some peptides. I'll have, sometimes if I'm hungry, I'll take a couple almonds. I'll take the burn cycle because taking Altered in the morning on an empty stomach for me is too fucking strong. I'll have to go build a house or something. But then I'll do either the cardio, some form of boxing. I'll go for a run. I'll do that. And then my second workout of the day is either training at Grants or training with Evan, my Muay Thai coach, or I'll train weights.
Yeah. But you have to, obviously, to manage that, you're going to have to eat well throughout the day. And So, it's tough sometimes to get meals. So what do you do for your meals then? Like, what would you do between training sessions?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. If you were to say, do I eat super clean? Fuck no. I try and eat moderately clean, but like I said, I'll make sure that I compensate it for working hard. And for me, one of my best things, and this is like a shameless plug, but I'll take a shaker bottle with some ice, some almond milk, a scoop of the chocolate wafer crisp diesel, peanut butter, and a banana, and it's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I do it lately I've been into the triple chocolate.
Yeah.
It's been my one, the triple chocolate. But yeah, same kind of thing, same kind of drink like that. Boom.
Sushi, chicken. But to me, food is fuel. But I also need to enjoy what I'm putting in myself.
Yeah. That's why I like fasting. Like, is it ideal for performance? Yes and no.
George St. Pierre, he's a big believer in it. And actually, my anti-aging doctor, he's a big believer in fasting as well.
Yeah. They say, it's damaging. Like, they say if you're not fueling those bad cells eventually. There's science behind, like, if I ask my team nutritionist who kind of helps athletes, would I go intermittent fast. If I was competing, probably not. I'd still probably want to have carbohydrates at least available for my first workout, at least. But
we're coming out with a carb product that that Jason is working on. You know, again, another shameless plug. And I really don't want to turn this into a fucking plug for Perfect Sports. But one of the things we're trying to focus on right now is not to bring out products that are like Me Too products. If you either got to come out with products that are fucking innovative and pushing the boundaries, or don't waste your fucking time. I mean, because then all you are is just, you're competing on price. And that's like, we have products in the queue that are like game-changing products.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the direction, and that's why I like it. But like, even like before this podcast, like I'll take the Brain Fuel before, I'll pop 3 in.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the iLean stuff because it's got the creatine, it's got the beta-alanine as well. So I mean, you guys are heading down the direction where I think is
we're not taking any fucking prisoners. We're going to be number one. Like by next year, we'll be the number 1 brand in Canada, no doubt.
And flavors, unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, like, you guys just have options over options. So
thank you.
It's good. But there's a one path which I want to get down to, which I don't even know much about and I want to talk about, is outside of your martial arts world, you're a photographer for Playboy.
Yes.
Dang. So, and any guy would be like, tell us the stories, man. And you're just like, yeah. And we're just like, you've done it for years, you know? So, I mean, I think most of the listeners are probably male here. So they're probably like, that's probably one of the coolest
They don't
jobs.
give a fuck about the supplements. Like as soon as what do you do for a living? Oh, I own a supplement company, Perfect Sports. Oh, I also shoot for Playboy.
Like, what? Tell me, you know?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Everybody wants to be the oil boy for the shoot.
Oh, yeah. You need any help with lights? But how do you even get into
something like that? How would you, out of all aspects of life, martial artist, businessman, how do you get into, Playboy photography?
I have been extremely blessed in my life. I have good people around me. I'm extremely fortunate to have a good close friends. And I believe if you extend gratitude out into the universe, I believe the universe is good back to you. So my girlfriend, I did a painting of her in a stormtrooper outfit, Star Wars plug, and Playboy contacted me saying, we'd like to use your illustration for one of our covers. And I'm like, who do I got to blow? And they're like, my first gig with Playboy was a fucking cover.
Jeez.
So,
and how many years ago was that?
4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then I'm like, do you want me to shoot? Because, how I started in photography is with the supplement company, we would basically have to hire out photographers. But that's why Danny's fucking cool, is because if you share the same vision and mindset, then it's great. But at the time, it would be like, okay, I want to see this kind of shot. I want this kind of attitude with it. And it's very hard for me, being such a control freak, to try and give that message to somebody else and then for that person. So I taught myself photography.
Yeah.
And so for the time, I would be shooting all our athletes and everything. And then what I started to do for my illustrations, because I used to put out yearly calendars of my artwork, like the fantasy stuff, and a huge fucking nerd, comic book stuff. And then I got quite popular. I used to have pinup books of my artwork. It was like very sexual, erotic, comic book kind of fantasy stuff. And Playboy caught wind of it, and then it just transitioned from doing illustrations for them to doing the photography. I was the most prolific Canadian photographer for Playboy.
And the models would just come to you, or did you have to go fly?
No, they would
how
come
do you
to me.
set them up? Like,
They would contact me.
And then you would submit their photos kind of thing?
If I shot you, you were in.
Damn.
Yeah.
So how did you pick the girls then? They
have to look
reached out
good
to you, and then...
And it's also not to the degree, like I am very unemotional when I'm dealing with the models. So I look at you as a product, and maybe you're not something that I like to look at, but maybe he likes to look at. So you have to be universal in your approach as to, will this person like this person? And if, if you have this stereotypical blonde with big tits, most people are, and that's Playboy, right? Like the reason why Playboy is failing now, I mean, the USA magazine is only digital, it's online, is because they tried to be too politically correct. They fucking put a guy on one of their covers, like with rings in his nose and his lips and everything else. I'm like, that is not Playboy. Like, don't try and make Playboy woke, right? They had an overweight woman on the cover, and like, I'll be the first one to say, you can be proud of the skin you're in, but if that fucking skin is unhealthy, don't be happy, man. You should be taking steps to better yourself with that.
But that's still a fetish to some guys. Some guys.
But that's not Playboy. If you want to put a fucking dwarf midget on the cover
of what Playboy is.
Absolutely.
And they even wasn't nudity taken out from them at one point.
They tried that. That tanked like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
That was a huge hit to them. And why would you do that? Why am I going to buy your shit? Then I can go online and see a woman blowing a goat.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there. Like, Playboy to me was iconic. It was like, you can't get a bigger brand recognition than Playboy.
Yeah.
And I think, and now with the advent of, a lot of people during COVID have gone to the OnlyFans page. And so I just think magazines in general right now are having a hard time.
Yeah, I just think the internet has totally ruined Playboy.
Absolutely.
And everything. Like, you could just go on YouTube and get everything, Like,
right.
Even old school with us, we'd get the black belt magazines and look at them and be like,
Bill Wallace,
the Chuck Norris pants
jeans
at the back. Yeah, see, right away, the Chuck Norris jeans,
Yeah.
I still have old magazines, but like right now, like you can go online and go to Bazooka Kickboxing, and get unlimited YouTube videos, So it's like,
how do you feel about that?
I don't mind it. I like it. I like giving away my information.
Good.
Because I know I can give you to, like, even in my fight career, people are like, oh, like, don't tell the game plan. I was like, why? I was like, try to stop my low kicks. I'm going to low kick you. Stop it. Go for it. I dare you to. Try it. You're so obsessed with the low kick now, I'm going to punch you in your face. You know what I mean? Oh, and then guess what? You're going to defend your face. I'm going to punch you in your leg. You're not going to stop it, so I can tell you what I'm going to.
Dude, when we shot the commercial for Altered with you and we were fucking around, just the tips that you were giving me, I've started to implement.
Yeah.
And I like the way that you'll throw the jab into the low kick, or you're a bully like me, right? Like apparently I'm a fucking bully when I fight, but you manhandle the person, you push them away, and then you low kick them. I dig that shit.
Yeah, because when we were playing, we're just we're kicking back and forth. One, like, I was surprised. Like, I didn't know your martial arts experience. Everybody tells me, like, oh yeah, I've done martial arts, but like, you were legit. Like, you are studied decades of martial arts. You know what I mean? So.
I knew that about
surprised me
because
you completely surprised
I fucking know,
me.
dude. Like, when we first came, I believe Jason was like, we'll do some sparring, like some mock sparring and you were like, okay. Like, meanwhile in your head, you're like, this motherfucker's an old bitch. He's gonna be in here in a walker and he's not gonna be able to do shit. So, but thank you for the compliment.
You were whipping side kicks, spinning kicks. Like, your background was Taekwondo, I believe, right?
I first to the masses, nobody really knows why I started studying martial arts. So this is why I did. Okay. I was 15 years old. My parents and I and my two sisters, we went to a drive-in movie and we saw one of those 80 slashers movie. It was called Happy Birthday to Me. Okay. And it was just about this random dude killing people just arbitrarily. And it tripped me out. I'm like, fucking some person could, at their own device, try and fuck your life up. I'm fuck that.
I'm not allowing this.
I'm not allowing that to happen. I'm not going to be a victim. And that's why I started martial arts at 15, and I'm 53. I've been in martial arts all my life.
Yeah. You got to think, it's a movie that impacts us essentially. Mine was the Bloodsport Kickboxer, right?
For sure.
The Van Damme and the Stallones. I have videos of me at 4 years old where my family is staging.
You look like a young Van Damme, though, right?
Oh, yeah. They used to say that. I used to love that. That used to be a compliment. I wanted to look like that.
Yeah.
But I used to roll down in my house down the stairs. My dad would pretend to be Apollo Creed, you know what I mean? I want you. And I'm coming down with my bathrobe,
Nice.
My sister's cheering for me, us playing the music. So, like, from 4 years old, we created that mindset of me being able to fight for championships and being in crowds and like, so those small movies.
What's that
wanting
like?
to fight in the Kumite and like, that was all a dream. I believed that I'd fight in a Kumite one day, and I fought in a tournament at least in my life.
So 2 questions. What's your favorite Van Damme movie?
Favorite Van Damme movie? It's close between Bloodsport and Kickboxer, but if I had to pick, I don't even know if I can pick. If I had to pick between the two, damn, man, I don't know.
You didn't like Double? No, there was Double Impact.
Double Impact.
But there was
twin brother.
Yeah, with the hair.
Mr.
Dude, that's
Silk
how I looked in the
underwear.
fucking
Was that
80s.
Silk underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lionheart. No, but the two.
Lionheart was good.
The two favorite for me were Bloodsport, Kickboxer.
The one I really liked was Hard Target.
Hard Target.
John Woo, Jim. John Woo, I believe the director was.
Okay.
The big guy, his famous for the fucking doves flying all over the place, right? That was one of because at the time when the movie came out, I was studying Cali and
At 15 years old still?
no, this was around, I was at 19. And Cali...
Okay, the Bloodsport was what, 85?
Yeah, no, the movie that really influenced my life also was the Brandon Lee movie. Oh, shit. What was it called? Are you allowed to...
Not Enter the Dragon?
No, not Enter the Dragon. It was... What?
The Crow?
No, not The Crow. That was devastating. Anyway, so that was at the time I was studying Cali and Eskrima, because Cali is not just the sticks. That's Eskrima. Cali is the hand motion and the stick and knife, but all of the sort of movements of Cali and Eskrima can be used with your hands. So
rapid fire.
What? Rapid fire.
Rapid
Yeah.
fire.
You've never seen that?
I don't think so, no.
Dude.
I'm going to go home and watch it now.
Oh, that was a
92.
fucking great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was studying under, my instructor actually trained under Dan Inosanto. So, yeah, that was, I love martial art movies. The fucking 80 cheesy
80s
martial art movies. Perfect Weapon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Jeff
all of those.
Speakman.
The
Force
old
5.
Best of the best.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when they would, the USA versus, Korea and the Taekwondo.
The second one was really good.
Yeah.
I forget the main actor's name.
What's his name? I know you're talking. He actually was like, I think he became like Kickboxer 4 or something like that after down.
Yeah.
I actually did a little fight scene in the Kickboxer remake.
I know, I heard. Yeah.
I ended up, George St. Pierre was the drunken guy coming into the pit, and I was just one of the compound fighters with Joe Schilling, and then Joe Schilling and I kind of have a little match there. And
Yeah.
it was cool. It was
should
cool
do
for me
movies.
because it was like that full circle. Like the movie Kickboxer got me into it, and then getting to be a small part in it. But we're Joe Schilling and I were supposed to have a bigger part, but in the movie it was supposed to be. So George St. Pierre comes in really drunk and he's falling all over the place, and it was supposed to be Joe Schilling and I telling George in the movie, being like, "You can't fight yourself out of a wet paper bag. You suck," and like, which would kind of at least make sense. Two world-class kickboxers, kickboxer movie. It's a little bit more believable. But then this young kid, small, petite, last thing you're looking at looks like a fighter. His dad invested some money in the movie, so then they gave him the talking parts. But to see him, I know it doesn't matter, it's a movie, but to him to say to George St. Pierre in the movie that is, you suck and look at you, you can't do nothing. You're like, at least put someone, valuable in that position. But they took our talking line. But
That's
still
what I
cool to
hate
me.
about movies, martial art movies. And same way about instruments, playing the piano. Like if I see a movie and I see someone playing the piano, I'm like, that motherfucker's not playing the piano. Like that bothers me. But using the way they shoot or they use a gun. I'm like, you have no fucking trigger.
Like the hands are all off. Like you ain't shooting nobody with one
That's
hand.
right.
Like
Or
that.
that shit. I'm like, anyway, but I hate when I see a martial art movie and they are more interested in the actor playing the role of a martial artist as opposed to getting a martial artist, because I fucking hate it, man. When I see, I'm like, that motherfucker can't fight.
It looks so
I hate it. It bothers me, man. Like, show me someone who's invested the time in learning the skill, learning the art. I don't give a fuck who the actor is. Fuck you. I don't care. Show me that you can fight.
I just think the problem is the acting part of it. The skill part is one, but just fighters, it's tough to be an actor.
Right.
It's tough to put yourself in another role, in a position. Like I started doing some acting classes and stuff, and you realize that it's harder than it actually looks to kind of be, someone else in acting. So I think that's where the problem is, where it's like you're going to get you got to try to find that middle ground where it's like the guy's a good martial artist and a good actor, because it's hard to have both,
But I'd rather the guy's a good martial artist. So going back to Best of the Best.
Like the acting wasn't great, but at least the scenes were decent.
I can't remember something. Anyway, the main actor, the Korean martial artist, you could tell that motherfucker could fight.
He was good,
and he was
looked the
moderately
part.
good actor. And then there was the main star of the movie. What's that?
Taller white guy there.
Yeah, who?
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts.
yeah.
And like that guy, bitch, you cannot fight. His shoulder was always like fucked up or something.
He had to fight hurt or something.
Yeah. He had great hair, but yeah, you can't fight. Get the fuck out. Stay out of the movie. So, like, I'd rather have someone at least, like, did you see the new Mortal? Oh, you haven't seen the Mortal Kombat movie?
No.
All right. There's a series that Danny and I were talking about called Warrior. Have you seen that?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I did. That's the one with Frank Grillo.
No.
No, it isn't.
No, that's Kingdom.
That's Kingdom.
Yeah, you're
okay.
thinking a different one. Yeah.
Yeah. You finished Kingdom?
Yes, I finished Kingdom.
What'd you think of the ending?
I thought it was okay.
I was disappointed, man.
Yeah.
It just, like, one thing I hate about movies is if you, at the end, I feel sad or disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, here's something. You know the movie King Kong, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, or Gladiator. Let's use Gladiator.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Okay. So, whenever I watch Gladiator, I stop the movie after he kills the emperor.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't want to see him dying and then...
And walking through the field.
Exactly.
It's too sad.
Like, just bitch, fucking end the movie right there.
Yeah.
And same with King Kong. There's a point where, spoiler, they shoot the ape and he dies. In the theater, dude, I was crying.
Yeah.
Not like I skinned my knee, but like somebody broke up with me crying. I was bawling my eyes out. So now when I watch that movie, I'm like, okay, there's a scene where he ends it with the girl, like he's hanging out with the chick, and I'm like, that's it, movie's done. Yeah.
But you got to think back at how valuable the Jackie Chan movies then were at that time, because he did his own stunts.
Yep.
His acting was pretty damn good.
Yep.
Not decent enough where it's like how good he was able to do everything. I actually watched a video that showed, like, because when I did that fight scene, I was like, let me study fight scenes a little bit more and how they do it and stuff like that. And apparently what made Jackie Chan so good was when they filmed, they only used a wide shot lens. So like he was doing everything. But when you watch fight scenes now, as soon as the hit comes, they change the angle.
Cut it and everything,
Where when Jackie Chan did it, everything was shot on one wide angle. So you saw the whole fight scene happen without angles changing, and they don't need to like punch in show the movement. So that's what made Jackie
He's
Chan
a legend. He's
so
the best
much
of the best.
Good,
100% the best of the
so
best.
much better.
Okay, so let's go into some forbidden territory. How good of a fighter do you think Bruce Lee was?
Okay. Yeah, that's the big topic now. I think he never competed, so it was hard, but I also was never a huge Bruce Lee fan. He wasn't my influencing martial artist.
You're right.
I liked it, but I think he would get smashed in a modern day, obviously. I mean, but I think he represented...
This is definitely not airing now, or you're going to get fucking hate.
No, this is good. No, this is good.
Fuck you, Joe.
What he represented to me was a mindset of martial arts. He made martial arts popular. Like at that point, though, even if he was a fighter, he wouldn't have popularized martial arts. He had to popularize martial arts through movies.
Yeah.
And that made martial arts popular because his direction. But if the UFC was on, maybe that would have been his direction. But he never really, there was no real outlet for Bruce Lee to compete to show how it is so good or wasn't popular. But it was movies that that did it. And I think you have to take it for that. But he was he was a mind. He was a mind. He was a martial arts mind. His philosophy, his like water, like that was phenomenal. But like, was he a fantastic fighter? It's hard to tell.
Well,
if you've never seen him really tested outside of the movies, right?
Absolutely. I mean, outside of that Long Beach sort of demonstration where he did the 4-inch or 5-inch punch where he just snapped and he sent the guy sailing. Yeah. There's nothing outside of rumor how he used to fight. I mean, I agree with you in that he had the mindset of a martial artist. He was always trying to better himself. Yeah. And that I respect,
right? Which is important. He was an innovator. Like he took things and made things and adapted and made it more to Western
he came up
culture.
with his own martial artist, Jeet Kune Do, which is what I was studying at the time of his son's
passing. The philosophy in that book is incredible.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it still applies, and all of his quotes are some of my favorites. You know, like one of the favorite quotes, which is hard to say out loud, I always screw it up, but is like, you know, I fear the man who, you know, throws, what is it? One kick 10,000 times over the guy who throws 10,000 kicks once. You know what I mean? Like you have to study perfection. You know, you have to repeat that one kick so many times to perfect it. If I just throw random kicks all the time, I'm never improving. So the art of studying, the believing of fluidity, like he had so many amazing concepts, which I think are good. And if you look now, if you ask any fighter what they study, it's philosophy, war philosophy. They're studying generals. And, you know, they want to learn the mental warfare.
Well, Tyson was big on that.
Yeah.
Studying, you know.
Genghis Khan.
Yes.
You wanted emperors, leaders. He wanted to know that mindset, you know?
Yeah, but I think martial artists tend to have that sort of dominating mindset.
Yeah.
I think the problem lies because for me, having that sort of dominating mindset has always been a benefit to my life. But you do have to temper it from being dominating as opposed to being an asshole.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's why I'm very, very big on honor and respect.
Yeah, you have to. It's everything. I mean, I still, like, I used to get in school, like, I could not shake someone's hand without the traditional martial arts shake. I
Yep.
couldn't walk into a room. Like, I've walked into my classrooms in elementary school and bowed out of
still
reaction.
do it.
You know? Like, I was like, oh my God, it's habit to just walk in and bow somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Whenever I shake somebody's hand, I still do that
noticed
to this
that.
day. Yeah.
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 I mean, a lot of people won't notice that, but I notice that right away when I meet you and I get that. So, I mean, that's how I know right away when someone's a martial artist.
Yes.
You know? From that greeting, right from that first, step.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I just think the whole idea, and I've always said, people need a little bit more martial arts in their life, whether it's discipline, whether it's a little bit of respect, whether it's structure, it needs something. And
Okay, so let's talk about that. Do you think today's youth?
Okay, are getting that?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Neither do I.
I don't. I think it's like, there's a lot of things. Like, I've been in the school board. I mean,
You used to be a teacher.
I used to for 10 years.
I
And
know.
mean,
That I didn't fucking expect.
yeah.
Yeah.
And with like special ed kids too. So it was a little different. I like specialize with behavior and autism. And I love kids with autism has stole my heart. Something about their minds just beautiful to me.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Yeah, it's just that whole understanding that I can see, like, with time, like, the discipline at home isn't there as much as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then even though, like, you needed something to teach discipline, whether it was the school, which the schools aren't teaching the discipline as much.
No, because they're
anymore.
penalized
The
for doing so.
families aren't doing it. So it was martial arts. I mean, martial arts gave me the structure. I mean, was I disciplined at home? Yeah. Like, I always tell I would never go to someone's house. Like, I see some kids go to people's houses. It's not wrong. It's just the way you are. But they'll go jump on someone's couch or touch things. If I went to someone's house and I started jumping on their couch or I started touching things, my father and my mother would embarrass me in front of everybody and, like, sit me down. Like, I was warned before I even went into this house, don't touch anything. You sit down. Like, it was that respect and discipline from an early age mixed with the martial arts. You create that. But if you don't have that structure, like, where do you get it? And that's why I think now martial arts, even though it's now, it's sad to say, but some of my closest friends, their wives won't allow their kids to watch UFC or martial arts.
Why?
Really?
Yeah, like my closest friends in my community.
Oh, you're getting in trouble now.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully they don't listen to it, but they will not allow their kids to watch a UFC or
Why?
watch.
Because that's fucking stupid. That's the same.
So
stupid
that's where
parents
martial arts is in a lot of people's minds still. I had, again, I mean, no one knows who the person is, but I had a mother of the kid who got in trouble come into the gym and right away come and accuse the gym of being a place of gangs and violence. And I was like, this is a family run martial arts place where it's dedicated to curriculum and community and helping people with mindset. Like, it's totally against what you think this place is. You know what I mean?
Maybe you should do a better job as a fucking parent.
It's a negative stereotype. And I mean, still to this day, it's just so frustrating to me.
One of the greatest sort of pieces of knowledge that I've gotten is that a man who is not capable of violence because he is not skilled enough to fight, that is not impressive. Yeah. The person who is skilled and capable of great violence but tempers it, that to me is a warrior.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're some little bitch and you let life treat you like shit and you're like, well, that's just the way it is, there's nothing I can do about it. That's not impressive to me. Yeah. The guy who's like, I'm going to let this slide. I'm going to be respectful for you, but I could fuck you up. Yeah. That is worthy of respect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, martial arts goes even bigger when people are like, oh, why do you need to learn how to fight? It was like, well, it's not about fighting. It's about the confidence that comes with it.
Absolutely.
And it's the mindset behind it. So we just talked about being bullies and dominate. We want to dominate business. We want to do something. But what happens now when something difficult, a difficult task happens in the office?
Exactly.
Like, what does a martial arts do? What happened when I got knocked down in my fight? What do? you get back up. You
Right.
keep going. You fight harder. When you get down, you got to make up for that loss. So you get up, you fight harder. You try to do what you have to do to win that fight.
Right.
But if you don't have that martial arts mindset, even in the business, even in anything in life, it's easier to give up. So I mean, I will not give
100%.
up. You will not give up. If something were to happen with Perfect Sports, you can sit there and be like, I'm just going to give up. But your martial arts mind will tell you no. When you're down, you get up, you do better,
Absolutely.
you push harder. You
There's
keep
that
going
famous
forward,
Rocky speech,
you
right?
Keep going, yeah.
And that indomitable mindset is the most important thing that I think you take. I've never been in a fight, dude.
Yeah.
What?
But that's a lot from violence, martial arts.
Right.
That's martial arts teaching us this.
That's right.
You know?
But that mindset of nothing is ever going to take me out, dude. Like I've been kicked in the balls in business many fucking times.
Sure.
I've lost hundreds
Wouldn't
of
be
thousands.
successful if you didn't.
Exactly. So when you get fucking knocked down, get up. And that's like that in anything in your life. You know, bad choice of business or bad relationship or, you know, just a shitty day. You've been knocked down. Get the fuck up.
Yeah.
You don't have to stand right up, but fucking start moving up. Yeah. Start making moves to better yourself.
Yeah. It's, to me, everything in life can be related to the martial arts mindset.
I agree.
If I'm sitting in an office and I'm not confident and you're interviewing me and I'm sitting there timid.
Yep.
Why am I going to hire with bad body language? But if I walk in with big, strong shoulders, I look strong, and I'm like, hello, I'm Bazooka Joe Valtellini, and I shake your hands. I look you directly into the eye.
Yes.
I already gained a form of respect, a form of knowing that this guy is not going to crash, you know, when things get tough.
Absolutely.
You know? That's who I want. That's why it goes back to I want my leader to be someone who's confident, someone who's in good shape, because I know good shape leads to good health, which leads to good lifestyle, good mindset. So that's why I want my leader to do it. But it also comes down to the way our policing is, to the point of where I want to see a lot more police in martial arts training, because what that's going to do is going to teach them not to be as violent. It's going to teach them to, instead of now knowing that this person doesn't have a weapon and there's three of us, why do I need to taser him when I could literally use a simple hand control, work my way into a clinch, maybe an underhook, quick body lock, take them down, control them properly, and be okay with it. If I was a police officer in a situation where I had to get confrontational with someone, I'm going to be more calm. I'm going to be like, "Hi, I'm Joseph. I don't want any issues here. Like, let's do this calm." Like, but if I come in and I don't know, I'm nervous. Like, I'm going to want to grab my taser, my gun. Someone died the other day because there was an officer who was under stress and didn't know if it was the taser or the gun because she was in so much stress. Teach people, like, being in martial arts makes you calmer in these types of stressful situations. Have you ever fought in front of 15, 20,000 people where, you know, with millions watching at home? Like, that teaches something, you know? There's something to, you know, it doesn't have to be at that level, but going to a local Taekwondo tournament with your family and your parents watching you, 2 people watching you fight someone and your team cheering you on, like, it's hard. It's stress, it's nervous. Like, there's so much more behind it. So, martial arts, I feel, and it sounds stupid, everyone should have it in some form of way. So when I look back at these cultures of the Chinese cultures and they're all learning martial arts curriculum in school, I'm like, that's beautiful to see.
And it teaches respect.
That's what drives me nuts. Fighting in martial arts right now is still fighting in violence and hurting someone. It's like the gun owner talk, you know, we're both gun owners. We both enjoy, you know, firearms and stuff, and we're both safe, you know. We use our firearms safely. We store them safely. We'll never use them incorrectly. I know. It's okay. But I mean,
this is never airing anyway. Who the fuck are we kidding?
But what's happening is we have to understand that it's like, it's a control thing. I mean, it's just frustrating to me that it's like the negative stereotype is still towards martial arts. So
I think it's ignorance. It's the same dumb motherfuckers that are like cartoons are bad, or, you know, there's too we're going into really bad territory. People are way too fucking sensitive nowadays. I think people are bored and they have nothing to do with their time, so they just like to start shit, right? The way society right now is so divided is saddening to me.
It is sad, but walk into a martial arts gym. Tell me what divide you'll see in a
None.
martial arts gym.
Here's what I like about
Rich,
martial arts.
poor, black, white,
Yep.
Asian.
Yep.
Well, I don't care if you took the bus here. You're rolling in Bruce's McLaren. It doesn't matter. You're going to be treated the exact same way when you
Yes.
walk in here. I'm going to low kick
100%.
you just as hard. Doesn't matter who you are. You know.
I have never heard someone say that exactly the way I see it.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at it, if you and I are going to bang it out, you don't care what car I drive. You don't care what fucking money I have, or you don't care about anything.
Concern.
You and I are going to fight, and you're going to do your best to fuck me up, and I'm going to do my best to fuck you up. There is nothing more honorable and pure than that. Anything extraneous doesn't matter. That, to me, is what I love about martial arts. At that moment, the better fighter is going to win, and that's pure.
And there's no ego. And at the end of it, what?
There's
We
kind of
all
ego.
hug a little bit.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
to. It's competitive ego. That's good.
Yep.
But those two people, I mean, it's rare that you see them want to take the fight out onto the street after because you lost in sparring. You're like, all right, I'll see you next week. And you laugh about it. You kind of talk shit a little bit on text message. You should see before all of my sparring sessions, like I'll plant seeds in guys' ears. I'll go to one guy and be like, hey, so-and-so said he's going to whoop your ass today, you know?
Nice.
So-and-so he's going to drop you with a low kick today. So-and-so is going to get you with the liver. So when it comes, like, those tensions are okay, but it's fun. It's we deal with it. We have fun. At the end, it gets competitive, and then we're done, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, my biggest thing is promoting martial arts. So when you said, well, do you care about giving out your information? I was like, no, because I'm looking at things as a bigger picture almost. Like I'm hoping people, as simple as going on YouTube and maybe doing one workout, will inspire them to want to learn more and give more of a positive mindset in martial arts. That's why even when I started my career, I have no tattoos. I never did the mohawk. Because I wanted to show that someone educated, someone good looking, I don't have to follow a stereotype to be successful in this sport. So
You never trash talked?
in a confident way. Like I went into my first glory fight telling everyone I'm going to be the world champion.
I dig
you know what I
that,
mean?
though.
Is that trash talking or is that confidence? You know?
Well, I do the same thing about the supplement company, right?
Yeah.
And I don't apologize for it. Like, I firmly believe in my team and our products, and we're going to be the best in Canada and worldwide.
It starts there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even like that mindset was one of my best friend passed away, Derek, this year, you know, rest in peace, Big D. But we went to Turkey together for my Glory debut, and we saw Nikki Holtzkin there.
Oh.
And Nikki Holtzkin, everyone's like, oh, Derek's like, I want to get a picture. Let's take a team picture with him. I was like, no. And they're like, why? I'm like, this is one of the best strikers. I'm like, I'm going to fight him one day. And I was like, I don't want him to think that I'm friendly or I'm family. I'm going to fight that man one day. I was like, this is my first glory fight. This guy's got 100 pro fights, been on top of them. I'm going to fight him soon. Next thing you know, within a year, I'm fighting him. So I was like, no, because in my mind, I'm going to have to fight him. I don't want any sort of connection with that person.
It's funny, Rose and Wei Li did that at the start of their fight when Wei Li said, do you want to, hit
and
gloves? She's like, no.
Yeah. I actually, that was a conversation I had. I do a podcast with TSN with the host Aaron Bronstetter. It's called the TSN MMA Show. Another plug for that show. But we had a conversation about that the other day, and I was like, because the Ben Askren Masvidal knee, right?
Yes.
So you got to think like that was my biggest fear as a fighter, getting knocked out with the first shot.
Of course.
I mean, how many times have you seen, so like, even though like I don't care to touch gloves, like say the referee brings us together, we usually touch gloves, you separate. In my mind, we don't need to touch gloves again.
Yeah,
Let's
I agree.
fight.
Yeah.
But I did every fight. I did put my hand out. My hand was right out before because I want to make sure we touch because I don't want that first shot to be me thinking that I'm going to touch you and then all of a sudden a big right hand comes over and cracks
That would be
me,
a fucking dick move to do that.
But it's happened, too many times or like that.
So as soon as you touch
I would
gloves.
rather touch and then boom, now I'm here. Now I'm okay.
Yeah.
So I did it more mentally and just to know that I wasn't going to get knocked out with a random cheap shot like that because that was my fear. In a weird way, that was my fear to just get hit with that first shot. So I was like, let's touch first. If you say no, okay, that means you're ready to bang out from the start. So I'll keep my range a little bit more. I'm going to come up with my hands glued to my head.
Yeah.
So, but I agree with
That's a fair point because if you're in the range to touch gloves, you're also in the range to start getting hit. I'd rather pick my distance.
Yeah.
One of my bad habits, and he always fucking yells at me for doing that. If I'm sparring somebody, and for instance, G, and he'll pop me with a jab and he'll snap my head back, I'm like, nice.
Yeah,
like he's like, don't fucking do that. Don't
It's not
compliment.
nice. Yeah.
I know, but I dig it. Like
For sure.
I respect the skill. So, we're sitting here and then bap, he'll pop me off and he'll snap my hand. I'm like, oh, nice, good job.
Yeah.
And he's like, fucking stop doing that.
Yeah. But it's good. It's a good, you respected what landed. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
exactly.
Like you see it in fights all the time. Like even with Masvidal, like if he gets hit, he smiles at you, He's
Yeah.
like, it's not that bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes, they think it's the opposite, that it hurts more than anything, But who knows, man? What other athletes do you guys have? I mean, I know there's a lot of people for Perfect Sports.
Yeah.
And
Douglas
what's the
Lima,
direction? I'm sure there's a lot of people
Muhammad
who are going to
Usman,
want to start reaching out and trying this stuff out.
We have a huge list of, Jason, give me some fighters, dude.
Whaley, Brandon Allen, Lima, Felice
Herring,
John
Elise
C.
Anderson.
John
Usman,
Yeah, Muhammad. He's a great fucking
Mo
guy.
Usman, yeah.
Like when we were in Vegas, we were doing a commercial with him, and we put on this insane sort of cycle for him to do. It was just ridiculous. Squats, pushing sleds, shoulder presses. It was just insane. And he kept doing it and doing it and doing it. I'm like, dude, you want to take a fucking break? He's like, I can do this all fucking day.
Yeah.
So, one of the great things about being with Perfect is that I get to train with these guys. I mean, I did some touch sparring with Douglas Lima, and fucking around with you. Like that is an honor for me, dude. Like you're a fucking world champion, and this has owning Perfect has given me the opportunity to meet some incredible people. Like that to me is equally as important. And knowing that I have somehow affected people's lives to the degree where I'm either inspiring them or that I'm helping them achieve their goals. That to me is worth more than any kind of money that the business makes.
And I think the important part of it all is the ability for you to get your two passions into one. I think that's the most important, Like if you can run your business and still be involved in martial arts, that's the ideal world, right?
Well, I think I think you need to walk the talk. If you're looking to inspire people, and you have to believe in that. That has to be your lifestyle. That has to be your mentality. Otherwise, you're a fucking poser.
So who are some of the people that influence you then? Like, do you look at someone like The Rock as an influence?
No.
Or
I mean, I
other
dig The Rock. I like his commercial.
World champion. So what's an influence for you? Like, who would you look at and be like, this is someone I aspire to be, or is it just you being you?
People ask me who I believe in. I'm like, I believe in me. I get inspired by people that are trying to better themselves, to the degree of someone jogging on the street, someone who's overweight. I remember one time I was heading to a meeting and I saw an overweight woman, probably 40s, 50s, running. It was fucking raining too. I'm like, God damn, that is fucking inspiring, right? It doesn't matter where you are today. It only matters where you're going to be tomorrow. You could have, what I really don't like about people is people who play the victim role. Life is shit to everybody, and that's what makes it fair. So do some people have more advantages than others? Yes, they do. But that just means hustle, dude. Make up that fucking difference. So I get inspired by anybody who tries to better themselves.
I agree. And I mean, Danny always laughs, but I'll rant on how a lot of these influencers who try to tell you how to live better, how to do all these things, I'm like, you came from something, Like, I mean, I want to see. I'm inspired by the Jose Aldo, coming from the slums to becoming a champion to bettering his life. Like he went through this huge motivation. Like even driving, like you said, like. To me, seeing people run in the snow, I was like, it's freezing out. I would never do that with the crazy mindset I have. But then that's made me think like, I'm going to run. If that person can run, I'm going to. Right. So they actually, just a random person running has inspired
Francis
me.
Ngannou's, his fucking life.
It freaking inspired me. Just a random person running in the cold inspired me because I'm like, I don't do that because I don't want to be cold. But that person's mentally stronger than me. How is that person mentally stronger than me? It's like, it's an old lady running. How is she more mentally prepared to get out in the rain and the snow to do it?
Absolutely. You could take inspiration from anything. You don't need to be inspired by the greats. Even though I do take things from people like Tyson's peekaboo style. Like I love that, right? I also like his aggressive nature and everything else. But you can be inspired by anything and anybody. And that's the wonderful thing about life. Like people, no matter what they do, people that aspire for greatness inspire me.
Yeah. Like, are you into those guys? Like, do they motivate you? Like the Gary V's, the Tony Robbins,
No.
like those guys that inspire you? They almost do the opposite to me.
Yeah, like
You know,
I don't
it's
need.
like, I'm not inspired at all. You know, like they don't inspire me at all for some reason.
I think there are.
I like what they do. Don't
Yes.
get me wrong.
Right,
It's
100%.
great what they
I
do.
think they
Positive.
inspire certain people, but they don't inspire me. Like I inspire me.
Yeah.
My drive to be great is what fucking makes me hustle my ass.
I have a hard time. Everyone's like, "Oh, read this book," and it's like these self-help books. I get them, but it's almost like I'm like, I don't know this author. What have you done? Like, I've done
Right.
more than you. Why don't I write a book to tell you how to do something more than I do? You know, like. So I mean, it's not a good way of thinking, but I mean, a lot of times I do have to think that way. Like,
I do feel
the
the same
way
way.
they push, you know, these thoughts on people. I was like, well, I mean, it's cool. Like, I mean, you read a book and you're telling me now to do these things, but yeah, they don't inspire me. It bothers me more than anything. But I see how it's inspiring. I want that. I want to see the story. I want to see the progression for me to be inspired. You know, that's why I hate those 500-pound life shows, because they stop it. I want to see the end progression. Stop cutting me off. You know,
Right.
I need to see the full progression.
I need to see
know?
the trial by fire. I need to know why you can inspire me.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem, though, people face is that you're giving them the map in order to better themselves, but they fail on the execution.
Yeah.
Right? Most people stop at the word start. And you're never going to achieve anything if you just tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you a reader? Do you read
Comic books.
comics? That's it. Eh?
Yeah. I mean, I listen to audiobooks. I like to be educated on various topics. I think part of the problem with today's society right now is we're so fixated on COVID and everything else. We're sort of pigeonholed into just looking at that when there's so much more that we could be doing with our time. COVID's going to play out the way it's going to play out, and I think we should be using this time to better ourselves. And what I find very sad right now is we've lost all compassion.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in opening doors for people, right? And I can't remember where I was going out. I was coming out of the bank, and I held the door open for the gentleman. That motherfucker looked like I was trying to finger bang his cat. He just freaked out.
Couldn't believe it.
He couldn't believe it. I'm like, dude, like fucking relax. I'm just opening the door for you. I'm not going to grab your ass on the way in. Chill the fuck out. Yeah. And like we've lost all human decency.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, have you ever walked past someone? Everyone's like, ooh,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
ooh, like they're scaling the wall, being like,
I know.
trying to go around. It's like, okay, we both got masks. We're just crossing paths quickly. Like, they're like so like they're literally like
They
won't
freak
even
out.
cross paths. They freak out. I'm like, I
freak
get
out.
it. I
Yeah.
understand. Like, that's your thought, but like, that's what.
No,
we
I
do
don't.
now. We
You're
see
being much
people
more
and we're
understanding than I am. I don't fucking get that.
Yeah.
You know, again, I keep going back. Take a look at Florida. They're acting and, you know, with freedom and in a humane fashion. And here it's fucking ridiculous. And no, I don't understand it. I don't understand why people are acting this way. If you're that afraid, stay the fuck home.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we're cycling back to that because
Yeah, let's get off that because
I mean, I love the ranting, yeah, but yeah, no, I agree with you. It's getting scary, and I think we understand that, and I think why that's even more scary. It's these young kids, like, you know, my best friend's son. He's like 2-3 years old. He doesn't know. He's 2. I think Nico's 2. I mean, he doesn't really know now. Like, doesn't go to
he's had no social interaction.
His social interactions he did before. He loved it. He was going to all these play programs and gymnastics, and he was making so many friends and mother and tots. And now they can't do anything. So, like, it might not, the kid is not developing in a way socially where I feel that they couldn't. And who knows how it's going to affect them 2, 3, 4. Like, they're creating such young habits as a child that you don't know these little things, the little behaviors they're learning. And that's what's scary to me, is seeing these young kids, you know, have to not do sports teams. Like, what about my nephew now? He's in grade 12. What's going to happen now? He's going to miss a prom. He's going to miss a graduation.
Yep.
When you think back, we all remember our prom. We all remember our graduations. We remember these things, and now they have no sports. What happens now? He's applying to universities. And so how do you apply to universities? Like, you haven't even been in school for a year. Now you're applying for colleges and universities, and how do you go visit the schools now? Is your first 2 years going to be online? Can you even go have a frosh week anymore for these kids? Like, it's those things that are really starting to add up.
But the little kids that you're talking about, I think the mental repercussions we're going to face when they grow up.
Absolutely.
Like, not being
intellectually.
able to have friends, not being able to, like, that is the that is something we don't see right now. We're going to see it.
Absolutely. And even intellectually, the repercussions of this for the next couple of years are going to be,
And
you're going to have a bunch of cabbages fucking applying for jobs.
Well, I hope if anyone got some good stuff out of it, it's like, hey, you know what? There is things you can do. And I think living as a martial artist just means create habits that make you healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try to sleep at the same time. Watch my video on the daily habits, but sleep and eat. Try to create a sleep schedule. Try to, get your vitamin D and all those different things, Go do your little bit of exercise.
Go for a walk.
Go for a walk. I mean, those little things I think are just as important as, whatever you believe in at this point. So just be healthy, Anything you want to leave the people off with, Bruce?
Be great.
We touch your topics and just be great.
That's it, man.
Work hard. Be great.
Thank you, brother.
We'll talk soon, brother.